It's another episode of Just My Take. This is Dexter K, aka DexPC5. Hope you guys are doing fine on a lovely Monday night. I want to get into this Nicki Minaj stuff that's going on on Twitter. But first, I just want to give. We're starting on a somber note. One of my friends from my hometown, Omar, recently passed away. And I don't want to talk too much about it just because we're still finding out the details and not everything's official. But I just want to say, rest in peace, my friend. I hope you're at peace with yourself and you're in a better place. And it's very sad news. And I'll always be thinking of you. So just wanted to get that out the way. So now we're talking about Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, lately she's been bugging out. I don't know what's going on with her. Recently she's been going after Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner and Spotify and the billboards. And it's a lot of drama that Nicki Minaj is doing right now. She's going after Travis Scott because he's got the help of his girlfriend Kylie Jenner. That she's claiming he got the help of Kylie Jenner, and that his album Astroworld was number one, and she's saying that her new album Queen was number one, and she's just going back and forth, and I don't know what's going on with Nicki Minaj. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the news. She's comparing herself to Harriet Tubman, which I thought was very, very tasteless, because at the end of the day, Harriet Tubman, she went out and she freed slaves. I don't really get why she thinks that her cause, whatever she's doing, trying to fight for streaming numbers and billboard numbers, is relatable to Harriet Tubman. I always get annoyed by when celebrities and athletes, politicians throw around the word slavery and figures of slavery lightly, because it was a terrible time in America's history. And a lot of shit went down that even people today don't know about. So I think before you say stuff like that, you got to educate yourself, because it's not. It wasn't all fun and games during that ugly period of slavery. So when she said that, I was turned off immediately. But like Nicki Minaj, I just feel like she needs to. She needs to get her business back. She needs to get her money. And some people are going to be like, well, she's already getting her money. She just dropped a new album and all that stuff. But at this point, I feel Nicki Minaj, she's kind of at a status in her rap career. She's very established. A lot of people know her. But I feel instead of doing all these petty beefs with Safari, with Meek Mill, with Travis Scott, with Cardi B, she needs to really be focusing on the next stage of her career. All right. And what I mean is her name is still relevant. She should be doing a lot more endorsements. She should be doing a lot more investments. I know she actually does a very charitable thing, giving out scholarships to a lot of college students, which is much appreciated, because the college tuition is going up every fucking year. I don't know what these colleges are spending their money on. I got to do a podcast episode about that in the future, because as a grad student, even I'm getting, compared to some of the costs of my peers, I'm getting a little bit cheaper, but some of the fees that they charge are just kind of reckless. I really don't know what these colleges are charging. But anyway, she's giving 4-year scholarships to these kids, and it's much appreciated. And she's made a lot of money. I think the problem with Nicki is that she doesn't know, I guess, how to move on. Because if you look at this whole beef with Travis Scott over Astro, Travis Scott, he's a newer rapper. He has a Kylie Jenner fan base. He's just on the tip of the tongue of everybody right now. And Nicki Minaj, I feel, is like an old person, a middle-aged person competing with a young hot start, being like, I still got it. We all know you still got it to a degree, but at some point, time just catches up with everyone. And I feel Nicki Minaj, I think her time is coming. She made a good album with Queen, but she's still trying to do some of the ratchet shit. She's still trying to do the shaking her ass and all that stuff. the pretty much skinless or almost nudity in all her pictures and stuff like that. And it's like, if you're saying you're a queen, I'm not saying that, as a queen you can't show off your body or nothing like that, but you need to be making moves like a female boss, like a queen. And what I do is I compare it to Drake. If you look at what Drake is doing right now, Drake, has his own label on OVO Records. Okay, he had something with Adidas before Pusha T messed up his rollout. And at some point, I think we all know he's probably going to own some type of ownership with the Toronto Raptors. So, and that's just stuff that we see publicly. I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes that Drake is doing to set himself in a good position for when he's done with rap or almost closing down on rap. I mean, I think when we talk about rap moguls, we're talking like people like Jay-Z. Everyone knows how Jay-Z started from a rapper to the mogul that he is today. And that's what everyone is trying to get to. That's what everyone should aspire to. I mean, P. Diddy's another mogul. 50 Cent, I remember back in the day in high school, he was the hot man. Everyone's talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine now, how he's trolling, doing all that shit. 50 was the master of that. But you don't really hear of 50 doing too many records nowadays. He took his money, he invested it in some shares of Vitamin Water. That was a huge moneymaker for him. He has a hit show, Power, on Stars. That's a huge moneymaker for him. This guy is taking his money and growing it to the next level. I feel that Nicki Minaj needs to do the same fucking thing. She has made a lot of money over the years. I remember when I was in college, she was the hottest rapper out there. But now Cardi B has come. And that's the thing. It's just that with rap, with sports, anything in life, at some point you get too old to be hip. And I'm not saying that Nicki Minaj still can't be relevant. Obviously she can. But unless you're bringing something new to the table or you're not coming out as much, it's very hard to connect with the young crowd. I mean, one of my favorite rappers is T.I. And unfortunately, is he on some rap records? Yes, indeed. But he's also an older man. He did, the last time I saw him, he did a VH1 family show. Okay, so like now he can't be talking and rapping about the same shit like he's in the streets anymore. No, he's a 40-something-year-old man with a family. And so I think with Nicki Minaj, I think she just needs to expand her brand. I think America loves her. I just saw her on the Colbert Show, Stephen Colbert, and she did a little spit, a little rhyme, and the crowd loved it. Nicki Minaj has incredible charm. America loves her, and there's space. I think there is space to have Cardi B and Nicki Minaj at the same time. I think these two should join forces instead of going at each other. But I think Nicki Minaj needs to understand that, listen, Cardi B is the hot thing right now. And she's on the tip of everyone's tongues. Now, if Cardi B fizzles out and Nicki Minaj is still around, then hey, Nicki just gets to do her thing. But hey, who knows? Cardi B might have another great career. But I think Nicki Minaj, as the torchbearer, needs to pass that baton to Cardi B at this point. Because for a lot of you people who don't know, when Nicki Minaj started coming out, I remember she was on a remix, that My Chick Bad song with Ludacris. My Chick Bad, My Chick Good. That you know that song. Anyway, on the remix, it was Nicki Minaj, it was Trina, it was Eve, and a lot of people from the 90s know about Eve and how she got that. At one time, Eve was the number one rapper in the country for the female side. But at that time, it was Trina, it was Eve, it was Missy Elliott. And for the most part, they all got along pretty well. You had Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. And, there's some beef and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, most of them supported each other. And I just think Nicki Minaj, she should be on a different wavelength right now. I know she got into an argument one time. This really shocked me. One of her fans came out and it was like, hey, Nicki really needs to talk about different stuff besides the ratchet club stuff. It's just not who she is anymore. She makes tons of money. I'm a true Nicki fan. I want to hear something different beyond the ratchet stuff. And Nicki Minaj, instead of taking that to heart from one of her fans, she went at her fans saying, "Oh, you a hoe, you this and that," slandering the fan on Twitter. She's very sensitive with the Twitter right now. Every time you criticize Nicki Minaj, she's coming after you. And I don't know why she's being like that. I don't know if she's going through a meltdown. I don't know if she's like, now that everyone has shifted to Cardi B, she feels like she needs to like desperately reclaim her spot. Listen, the industry is going to go where the industry goes. The fans are going to go where the fans want to go. And at all this time, see, when Nicki got her shine, when she was on the come up, a lot of other female rappers, for the most part, supported her, except Lil' Kim. But a lot of the females supported her, and she was a big mogul. Now that it's Cardi B's turn, Nicki Minaj wants to do all this back and forth. And all it's doing is just making Cardi B look good. Cardi B is just hanging out, chilling because Nicki Minaj is looking like a fool, being desperate. And in my opinion, she's being desperate. So if I'm on her PR team, if I'm on Nicki's team, I'm like, listen, let's call up Drake, let's call up Wayne, try to get some advice. Let's see what investments we can get into. What stuff can we put a Nicki Minaj stamp of approval on? I think Nicki Minaj, for a female rapper, she should have a label of up-and-coming female rappers and make money off of those rappers, just like Lil Wayne made money off of Drake and Nicki Minaj and Tyga, just like Baby made money off of Lil Wayne, and so on and so on and so on. So I think Nicki Minaj needs to start her own rap label. Her name is still very relevant. Obviously, we want to be talking about her right now if her name wasn't relevant, if she still wasn't a good artist. I mean, even though she just came out with an album, a lot of people still listen to her because we still are fans of Nicki Minaj. I think she just needs to maneuver different. I think she needs to expand her bag, man. Get into some of those investments. Invest in the next Vitamin Water. Invest in I don't know, fucking a new gym. I don't know, a sports team, something. I just hate when you see good people, established people like Nicki Minaj or like J-Lo, when they're still doing shit that they did in their 20s. And it's like, you're a grown person at this point. You can't really be doing the same stuff you did when you were young and on the come up. You have money, you're established. That's why Jay-Z, he raps a lot. He was like, I'm a mogul. Why am I going to rap that I'm still in the streets? That's dumb. And he said that about other rappers. He's like, if you guys are making tons of money, why are you still rapping about how you're in the streets? It doesn't correlate. It doesn't make sense. You're supposed to evolve. At some point, you're supposed to go, if you're 18, the difference between who you are as 18 and then 30 should be different. You should be evolving. And from when you're 30 to when you're 60, you should be evolved. It should be totally different. So, I don't know. Just straight bugging right now. Let me know your thoughts on the Nicki Minaj Queen album. If you guys really enjoy that. There's a few songs I enjoyed. Barbara Dreams, obviously that's the hit that everyone's talking about, where she kind of did some jovial barbs at a lot of other people and whatnot. So that's what I gotta say about Nicki Minaj. I just want to do a quick sports update real quick. Let's see what's going on. NFL season's about to start up. It's still the preseason right now. The Packers are looking good. The Patriots are looking good. I'd be interested to see what happens with the NFL. I think the NFL desperately needs a good season with the young players doing very well. I think that the on the field play needs to be spectacular. I know they got some weird hitting rules right now, and which is kind of stopping the defensive players from actually being able to tackle. It's kind of stupid what the NFL is doing right now, but hopefully they get that act together. The NBA, we kind of waiting for stuff to pop off with that. It should be starting again in October. And college football is right around the corner. I think it starts usually around Labor Day weekend. Everything starts up. So that's the quick sports update right now. So that's it for the Just My Take podcast. It's a short one this time. Short one. I just want Nicki Minaj. I wish the best for Nicki Minaj. I really do. And I think just going back and forth with Travis, who cares if you're number one or not with the numbers? I mean, I get it to a degree. You put a lot of effort into it, and you want the fans to, embrace your stuff. But honestly, I think Nicki Minaj, she got to set herself up in position that no matter what, she gets the number one album. If the content isn't as strong, then you need to deal with like Apple Music or Spotify or something that when as soon as your album hits, you're just getting tons and tons of streams. I remember when Jay-Z came out with the Magna Carta Holy Grail, he teamed up with Samsung. So if you got a new Samsung phone, you got a chance to get to that album. And as soon as as soon as the album dropped, it was automatically like number one. Because Jay-Z set himself up that way. I mean, another recent example, Drake with the album Scorpion. As soon as it dropped, Apple Music was sending people notifications. I mean, it was on every category. Every song was streaming. It was a number one album real quickly. Nicki Minaj, she has a lot of clout. She has more clout than she thinks. And she has a lot of fans, especially female fans, because she is empowering to a lot of females out there. She needs to use that clout and put herself in a better position instead of arguing with like a guy like Travis. So to me, it just comes down to, and I keep coming down to the same conclusion. She's bigger than what she's doing right now. She should be maneuvering bigger than what she's doing. Instead of arguing on Twitter and being petty and being like, oh, well, my numbers did this and my numbers did that, blah, blah, blah. You should be just positioning yourself so as soon as your album comes out, everyone's flocking to it and everyone just listens. She may have the number one album in the country. Who knows? But I think the pettiness is just showing that it's almost like it's a sign of desperation with Nicki. And she shouldn't be like that because I think she's a very talented rapper. I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast last week, and I don't know if she needs to just rap about mature stuff because a lot of her fan base actually, when she first came out with Drake, a lot of us were in college. The now entering 30-year-old demographic. A lot of us were in college, definitely young 20s, all that stuff, coming out the same time as really Drake did. And now, a lot of her fan base is getting married, having kids, all that stuff. And I think Nicki Minaj can cater to talk about some of that. Talk about, some of the issues she's going with. She did a little bit with the breakups with Meek Mill and Safari and all that stuff. But I think she needs to do a little bit more of it. And, maybe do a little singing on the side, too. It doesn't hurt. She has a good voice. Do some more singing. Get some more pop notoriety out there. So, there's different ways that she can do that she can not expand on her music, but just make it different. Because I think fans just want to hear a different sound. That's it. I think fans just want to hear a different Nicki Minaj from what we're used to. So anyway, that's another episode of the Just My Take podcast. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate the support. Subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. Share with your friends. I appreciate the support and feedback I've been getting. We're still trying to grow this podcast. I'm still trying to learn tips of the trade and make the podcast a lot better, sound a lot better. I mean, right now, I'm having some low numbers and all that stuff, but I do it for the fun. And if I can entertain one person a week, that's great. I'm doing a little bit better than that. But, when you start a podcast, you got to understand you're doing it for the love of it. You're not doing it to just get 50,000 downloads automatically. I was talking with one of my podcast OG. I've been listening to this guy since high school, and he does a wrestling podcast, Don Tony and Kevin Castle podcast every Monday nights after Raw, so usually around 11 p.m. I've been listening to this guy for years, and he, the two guys from New York, very chill guys. They're very cool. And Don Tony gave me a lot of advice about doing the podcasting, and not worrying about the numbers so much, just doing it for fun. Do your research, make sure that you appeal to the people who want to listen to you, and that you do right by them. And, that's why I do the podcast. I do it to have fun, to get my opinion out there, to try to give something different on a topic besides the usual, stuff that you hear every day from other people. I try to give a different aspect to it to get people thinking and be like, didn't think about that before. Give a different perspective. So that's why I do the podcast. Keep showing your support. Keep subscribing. And, if I'm posting on Instagram and stuff like that, let me know what you like about the show. I appreciate the likes for sure. Let me know what you think about the episode. Let me know what you think about the comments, if you agree or disagree with any of my takes. I'd love to interact with the fans more and definitely get to talk to you guys more on Instagram and social media and whatnot. Anyway, you can find me on all social media, DexPC5. On Instagram, there's two. I have DexPC5, D-E, X as in xylophone, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie 5, or the Just My Take podcast. You can hit me up there too. And remember, everyone, whether you agree or disagree, it's just my take. Peace.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.